So I'll start. So I want to do this like an interview, just like you were on the radio.
You might want to.
So I want to do this like an interview, just like we were on the radio.
Okay.
We have a lot of things to talk about.
Yes.
First of all, how was your past couple of days?
Well, my past couple of days have been not as stressful as you're probably thinking. It was exactly what I expected before I did this post. I was definitely ready for the backlash that I would receive. Wasn't ready to receive it in that manner. I mean, the amount of people that stepped up to the plate in the defense of my post, and then the people coming in and the hate coming in, and it was, it was quite a roller coaster, but it was something that I was definitely prepared for going into it.
So my last couple of days, I've been moving, which I don't like. My car's leaking fluid, which, it's
Nobody
pain in the
likes.
ass.
Yeah.
So then I started getting messages. What's up with your boy Shane? Is he joking? What's he doing? What's he talking about? So thank you for that.
You're sorry about that.
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
So why now?
Well,
Well, actually, let me take it back a little bit. Then we're going to take it further back. But I already knew this.
Yeah.
So we had a conversation a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Where we were.
You might need to move that in. Yeah. And we should sit here. All right. Go ahead.
Surround the dry lake bed. Enjoying the state of being that we're in. Then all of a sudden you said, hey, I've been eating meat again. You probably talked for a good 30, 40 minutes. I don't think I said anything more back than
You didn't say anything, yeah.
Well, A, I didn't want to have that conversation under those circumstances, being what we were doing at the time. And B, I thought I'd just sit in a space of unconditional love and just listen.
Thank you.
I disagree with a lot of what you said. I thought a lot of it was illogical, didn't make sense to me. But I listened and you were done talking, and I got up and took a piss, and then we came back and changed topics. So I knew this. It wasn't a shock to me, and we'll talk about more a little bit why it wasn't a shock to me. But why post that now? Why come out with that now?
Well, what triggered me, Nick, was your post.
Which one?
That morning, the evening that I posted that comment, you left a post on your page that said, people that believe plants have feelings, and excuse me for not getting this exactly correct, I think should starve themselves to death. Now, it wasn't exactly that post that was the ultimate trigger. The ultimate trigger was the post immediately after it, the reply. And the reply was, I hate humans. Now,
Who replied that?
No names, remember?
Oh, it wasn't me though.
No, it wasn't you.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't you.
Was that on my post?
It was on your post.
Okay.
It's probably still on there. And
okay.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
And so I've been debating on even bringing it up at all. I mean, considering that this was a personal choice, and I've really taken a step back from, and I have for a while, even before I started to add meat to my diet. And when I say meat, it's been salmon to my diet. I've had a few conversations with people today trying to clear the air, and they've been telling me, and there was a couple of people, which is kind of comical, they told me that they've been vegan for however long, and come to find out, in their mind, vegan is eating salmon or fish or something from the ocean. And so it's been something that's been building up. It was a course of events that has, where it's led to this moment. Where it first started was absolutely 100% within our community. I appreciate people with passion. I think that we should all stand for something, and we should all believe in something. And I am I am the person, if I believe in something, whether it's politics or anything else, I will definitely voice my opinion, and you know that, and that's something that we share together. But when I started this journey that I've been on, this spiritual journey of wanting to have a bigger impact, of wanting to reach more people, going to these vegan meetups and hearing some of the things that have been discussed, and in such a I don't want to say low vibration and piss anybody off, but in a way that isn't bringing light and love to the conversation, it was no longer resonating with me anymore. So, opening up
What
Panacea.
wasn't resonating? The label?
No, not the label. The judgment on people that are that don't share the same belief system. So it's not the label. If the label was, you could take another label, for instance, where you could say you're a spiritual person. If someone said I was a spiritual person, all the connotations and anything I could relate back to that label, I would gladly accept that into my life. The same thing with veganism. When I first went back to being vegan, Lisette was actually the one that brought me back initially. And her and I went to a documentary to watch Cowspiracy, and there I met Ashley, and you were at that event. And it was at that event when I watched that documentary where, in my mind, I was like, I don't care what happens to my body, because I've been vegan off and on. Like, I would try it and then I'd get off of it. I'd try to get off of it. And every time I would get off of it and flip back, it was because I would always notice a significant change in my body. And being that my diet is already so clean as it is, especially having the benefits of working in a juice bar and working around fruits and vegetables for the last 15 years, I always have access to good food. And talking about food, I know what's right and what's wrong to put into my body. So I have a pretty good relationship with it. So when I make a dietary change and I watch something begin to change, and in my mind, what I would call a decline, I always know what the problem is. And going back, my body comes right back to what it was before. And I know what your question was, so I have to stay mindful of what the initial question was. But how it all led up to this event. So, since it was a little bit after I opened up Grassroots, where I went back to being vegan again, and my time off from being vegan was a very short time. It was only like a couple months where I went back to eating meat. So, being that I was getting back into that community, Ashley was vegan, I went to that documentary. I'm like, for the environment and what I've learned about the rainforest and how I can contribute to making the world a better place, if I can do that by not putting meat in my mouth, I don't care where my body takes me. I'm doing this for the greater good of our planet and for mankind. So I have religiously been sticking to that diet. It has been because of Ashley. She's so super clean in the way that she eats. She cooks a lot. And even removing things like soy from my diet, fake meat, moving on from soy milk to almond milk, making my own almond milk. There was even a long period of time where I was watching my body fall apart. But I didn't address it. I didn't go back. I believed, even while we were having a baby, that it's going to be so awesome to be able to document this, to be able to show people how you can raise a family with a vegan lifestyle and also have a vegan baby despite some of the facts that are out there. Well, I'm working with this group, this nonprofit. The nonprofit is called I Am. It's ran by a gentleman by the name of Tony Moss, and Tony Moss works with one of the bigger nonprofits in the world called the Pachamama Alliance. And it was at this conference I was at, and after the conference, he said, I want you guys to know, on behalf of the sacred jungle and behalf of the indigenous people, that we need to preserve and we need to save our rainforests, that our lessons are here to save the world. There's a prophecy that's taking place called the Eagle Condor Prophecy, where our medicine, our teachings are coming into the Western world, and now more than ever, we need to preserve our land. And it hit me right away. I was like, how could this guy be talking about saving the Amazon when I just saw him eating chicken just a little bit ago? So after he was done speaking and everyone broke and we're eating, I asked him, I said, Tony, don't you know that cattle's grazing and growing the soybeans for cattle and the amount of water that it takes to raise cattle, that is what is destroying the rainforest? So where's the disconnect here? I mean, you're working for one of the biggest nonprofits. And he looked at me and he smiled and he goes, do you really think that that's what's destroying our rainforest? And I go, yeah, well, what else would it be? And he goes, you need to stop watching so many documentaries. And he goes, I have my feet in the trenches. If you really want to know what's destroying the rainforest, it's unsustainable practices. There's too many people, and for the amount of land that they use to raise cattle, it could be done in a totally different mindful manner with permaculture and all kinds of other things that we can implement to where we can have enough food for everybody without destroying our rainforest. So, food for thought. I sat on it. Didn't change my mind right away, but I did start doing a lot of research. Like anytime I get involved in anything, I study and research the living shit out of it. So there was plenty of literature to back up what he was talking about. So I went back to him and I said, being that you're so spiritual, don't you feel that it's wrong to take another life when we can eat off of fruits and vegetables, nuts, seeds, and grains? And he said, whether it be cows, and whether it be animals, plants, larvae, bacteria, what is your definition of something that is alive? Is it something that has a face, two eyes, something that bleeds, that has a mother and father? Or could a plant be just as alive as, going back to your post, could a plant be just as alive as an animal? He goes, plants have defense mechanisms. Some plants don't want to be eaten. Some plants have anti-nutrients that stop your body from absorbing anything from the plant. Some plants can take their roots right up out of the ground, get up, and move to another location. Some plants, like a Venus flytrap, could very much resemble a living human animal by the way that it catches flies and everything else. He goes, and plants almost share the same molecular structure and blood as a human being. So what is your definition of eating something that's alive? For every living thing, something has to die. And in our culture, and coming from the Amazon, the way that we eat meat is very mindful. There might be one species of animals where it's thinning out, and another one where there's too much of it. That would be the species of animal that we decide to hunt. He goes, and I don't know the chant that it was in Portuguese that he gave, but he goes, we have a special blessing that we do over our food. And the special blessing pretty much means, thank you, Mother Gaia, for giving us this nutrition for us to survive. We appreciate the source for which it came. And he goes, and I don't have any problem with it. And then he asked me if I believe in eternity. And he goes, and I go, yes, I do. And he goes, do you believe in infinity? And I said, yes, I do. He goes, so then if you truly believe in that, nothing ever dies. He goes, it's just the cycle of life. So
Guys, let me chime in there.
Yeah.
For one thing, I think he gave the plants have feelings, though, and I think that's the worst excuse you can have to eat animals.
He didn't say plants have feelings.
Well, they have defense mechanisms.
Yeah.
Okay, so if there's a piece of kale on the ground, that kale's not going to run from me.
No.
But if there's a chicken, that chicken will run and be scared and have fear.
Right.
And two, okay, they decide to hunt based on what's overpopulated. Who are they to decide what's overpopulated? Because there is a group of human parasites that think we're overpopulated right now.
And we are.
They use that justification to poison and kill us.
Right.
So why is it okay for the shaman in the rainforest to say that, well, deer overpopulate so we can kill them, but it's not okay for the parasites to kill us?
So I think that what we're talking about now is a level of consciousness, a level of understanding. So if in their culture, and it's been in their culture since the beginning of their culture, this is how they survived, and this is how they nourish their bodies. This is how they eat to put layers of fat on their body to protect themselves from the cold weather. This is the skin that they use for their clothes. These are the bones that they use for their weapons, using every part of the animal. That it all leads back to intention. So if my intention is to eat like a glutton and to go to a steakhouse and order a side of ribs with a side of pork and a large steak, not paying attention what I'm putting in my body or what I'm eating, then I think that's a little bit different than the intention of, thank you for nourishing my body. My body's telling me a story. I'm listening to it. And by putting this in my mouth, I feel better. My mind feels better. My energy levels feel better. And now that I'm becoming a father and I'm stepping into a role, in my opinion, that's not any more important than it was then, but I really feel like with this new restaurant that I'm opening up, with these cleanse packages that I'm offering to people, that it was very careful. It was my awakening was the understanding that I know nothing. That I could watch any documentary. I could listen to any speaker that comes in that motivates me, that says, one thing, Gary, what's our... Urofsky. He said something really resonated with one time, and he goes, if we took human beings off the planet, nothing would happen. The planet would continue on as usual. If we removed ants from the planet, it would begin to change the whole ecostructure. If we play with the bees, the planet and the plants, everything would fall to pieces. But as I move into deeper understanding for myself, whether I'm right or I'm wrong, so let me say as I move into my higher truth of what I believe that I am, what we all are, and what life is, that we are being taken care of. And I don't feel that it is selfish for me to love myself, for me to take care of myself. And at the same time, I'm not taking care of myself, being selfish, sitting in my home. I'm being of service to others. So this vessel that's taking care of itself is going into schools, going into prisons, feeding the homeless, trying to get people on a healthy diet, teaching people about plants. So we were having a conversation about service before we turned this camera on. And my life has turned into service. So now I have a baby coming. Now, my baby that's being born, I don't know for sure. I've seen a lot of studies. One study that I saw that really rattled me is that it was called the third generation vegan. And it said when somebody has a child and they've been vegan for a short period of time, that our DHLs or vitamin B or vitamin D has these reserves in it. So after the first child, it can pull from those reserves and build a healthy body. On the second child, they're noticing certain things that are slowing down development, like cognitive dysfunction, stunted growth. But my greatest argument to you, my biggest one that I got, is that because this is so new, this diet is brand new. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, of how long human beings have been around, and I know people who are like, oh, but there was a species before that never ate plants, and Adam and Eve ate plants. I don't know about that. Only thing what I know is the study of human evolution and how we can study human beings and cultures all around the world. And that there are not any evidence of any culture that have been vegan for a period of time where their ancestors were vegan and their ancestors were vegan, and evolution had risen and we've developed to where we are on a vegan diet.
That's a straw man argument. I could say there's no evidence that white people aren't still racist just because 2 generations ago whites owned slaves, and last generation whites were segregated from blacks. So we could say that white people aren't racist now, but because 2 generations ago we were. And the longest living people right now are the Okinawas in Japan. They eat less than 5% of calories in animal products. They are primarily vegan, plant-based.
Okay.
And that's today.
Okay. So, can you switch this to your...
It's on right now. You can alert people to switch it, follow our area.
So just let it go. Keep going. So so what I said still stands. There's no evidence of a vegan diet. Vegan. I didn't say 5% calories. I didn't say milk, cheese, liquid meat. I'm saying a vegan, ethical, plant-based diet. There is no evidence of evolution taking place. Now, let's think in the perfect world, okay? In the perfect world, maybe we won't have to eat meat anymore, period. Maybe we can sometime in our lifetime, wouldn't that be awesome? If we become breatharians and we just take electromagnetic currents from the sun like a plant.
Well, let's not get too far into hypotheticals.
No,
now.
It's a very good point that I'm making. It's not a hypothetical. So, if there's one person, let's take that back right to a vegan diet. If there's one person that's saying, look at my body, look what I've done, Colin T. Campbell, look what I've done, look at the book I've written, look how healthy I am, and there's somebody else that is trying to live under this ideology that's secretly dying inside, doesn't know what to do, and I can give you a lot of stories on these because they're all around. It's overwhelming how many stories there are, what I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. Does that mean that I have to sacrifice myself in the hope of mankind is going to reach this ability to not need certain nutrients to exist? And
how much do we have?
It's not showing how much battery's left, but it gave me 10%.
Okay.
I'm full. Can you do it on mine?
Yeah.
So if you're watching live, I'm tagged in this post. Switch over. Just keep talking.
Switch over to Nick Brannigan.
Yeah, keep going on yours, and when we're on mine, we'll shut that one down. Is that all right?
Yeah, so we're on Nick Brannigan, Health Conspiracy Radio. See you then. Bye, everyone.
All right, we are back. Sorry, we have to take it into selfie mode, trying to make this conversation work here. So
let me break off for a minute. You talk about the universe and infinity and all the justification for eating animals. That doesn't change the fact. First of all, we don't know how true that is.
Right.
We have ideas, we have theories, but that doesn't change the fact that the animal didn't want to die, that you had to take its life to eat it. That doesn't change the fact that they feel fear, that they feel that they're tortured, that they're murdered, no matter which way you look at it. Because we'll talk. Maybe we can talk about the humane stuff in a little bit, but that's bullshit, as far as I'm concerned.
not as far as I'm concerned. So, in my mind, if I believe in a higher purpose, and I don't believe that we're just here to die and turn into soil, and if I'm going to live a life full of health, if health, energy, to be able to continue to do what I do, to be able to continue to live the life that I want, to have the body that I want, and I'm not just talking about having big giant muscles, but to be able to feel good in my own body, then I have to be able to look at nature and man in general as a whole since the beginning of man, and look at the natural world and how it's been going since recent times. I will break it down like this. When you wake up, when you're born, and I went to Thailand. I lived on a farm. I watched kids go and cut a chicken's head off, pluck the feathers, and turn it into a meal for mom and dad and all the other travelers that were going through the jungle. Now, when you take a child today, one of the arguments is a natural thing for a child to do is to want to go up and cuddle an animal, not kill it and not eat it. Well, you're right. In Western culture, when we grow up not killing our own food, watching the Muppets, sleeping with stuffed animals, having cats and dogs that are downbred to the mindset of a puppy or a kitten, and then we watch something like, give me the documentary, Joaquin Phoenix. I don't know. The big one. The
Forks Over Knives?
No, where they go into the farms and everything else.
No idea.
Anyway, I lost it. Earthlings. We'd go into complete shock. Oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. And so for a lot of people that love animals, I don't know a whole lot of people that don't love animals, to be honest. Meat eaters or not meat eaters, people love animals. I have, if you were to take me to a zoo or a circus, nothing I could possibly stand it. That is not about my survival. That is about pure entertainment. So when I have dived deep into my career, let food be thy medicine, that to me is not limited to only one particular type of food, because if that food is not serving as my medicine or only part of my medicine, and I'm having to go to supplement and to supplement whatever I'm not getting from the food, from the diet that I currently have.
Okay, so what were the health problems?
My health problems were my body was getting run down.
That's vague, though. Were you diagnosed with a specific health problem from a medical professional?
I don't need a medical professional. I only need myself. If I can notice my body changing in myself, that's how in tune I am. I don't need a doctor.
How was it getting run down?
It was my energy levels go down considerably. I get tired a lot. Not anemic, but close to where I could fall asleep sitting down in a chair, just sitting there. Since I have incorporated that back into my diet, it has been tremendous. There's been a complete 180 in my health. But since I've come out, I have had numerous stories with people sharing their whole thing with me. Like, as soon as I came out on social media, I got an email from a lady that she says, I have leaky gut. I've been going to a homeopathic doctor. The homeopathic doctor told me that one thing that helps with leaky gut
Let me stop you for a second, because I do want to focus on you for a second.
Okay.
So you said your body was run down.
Yeah, and I was falling asleep. The whole anemic thing, poor circulation, headaches. Same thing happens to me every single time.
From going vegan.
So
what have you been eating?
Vegan?
No, since then. What's changed in your diet? Which
I've only incorporated salmon in my diet.
So specifically, what chemical, organic compound, or macronutrient in the salmon has cured your run-down-itis?
Well, My rundown-itis. Well, I like where you're going. And if you want to turn this thing, we could. This is the one thing.
This is my thing.
Here's the deal.
Okay.
When I look at when I look at a lot of vegans, I don't think, for the majority actually, I don't think there is the picture of health. That is what I want to look like. That's what I want to be. When I go to a lot of these restaurants and everyone's digging down, and we're eating food and we're enjoying it. It's great that there's these burger places popping up and all these great food options for people to enjoy food without having to eat carrots all the time. But for the majority, the food that's out there, unless you are super on point, eating the greens, the essential oils, the superfoods, and everything else, there is a lack of options to eat that for the majority of vegans. God damn it.
Still going, I think. Or unless it's delayed. We're still going.
All right.
I can hold it for you if you want. I can hold it close.
Oh, this is good. And so, you know what? I don't need to justify myself or explain myself. The only thing that I need to do is tell you that for me making that decision for my body, I feel 100% better. And I also work with a healer now that has come on to run my cleanse programs for Panacea. And she is absolutely remarkable. She deals with cancer patients. Almost any kind of ailment you could possibly think of. Does she tell anyone, no, that you eat meat and this is what you incorporate into your diet? She first takes the body through a 17 to 20 day cleanse. After she cleanses everything out, she teaches her client to learn to listen to their body. Now, she will start incorporating smoothies, high fiber foods, leafy greens. But for some of those people, and I don't know if the blood type's a thing. That could be as arbitrary as eye color. I don't know anything about that. But certain people resonate with having a little meat in their diet. You brought up one specific culture of people, how healthy they were, and you said they eat 5% of their calories is in meat. Dude, it's still meat. So you haven't shown me anything, any healthy culture anywhere where they're meatless anywhere. In my
I do want to dial back on something you said. You said you don't have to justify yourself. I think you have a responsibility to do that.
No, I don't have to justify my health.
Because you're a big name in the community. You gotta let me talk for a second. Okay. You're a big name in the community. A lot of people respect you. A lot of people are influenced by you. So when you go on Facebook and say that people that eat plant-based diets and vegans are justified because they're documentary nutritionists, that's insulting to a lot of people.
And I do apologize for that.
But I think you should have some more responsibility to say, this is how meat or fish improved my health. Because I said rundown-itis, and I'm joking, but I think you got a little bothered by that. But I believe that you do have that responsibility because you are a leader in the health community, and what you did was take a lot of people that were following your work because you're on a plant-based diet. Like, I get people that will lightly troll my accounts from saying going vegan, and then a couple months later, even a year later, they say, hey Nick, I'm eating 90% vegan. So I think you are not giving enough information to tell people why you did what you did. So a lot of the comments that I saw had more to do with Shane's not eating meat, so again, I ain't ever going vegan now.
Yeah, so I just want you to know that is not my message. The number one thing, because I started something, because it resonated with a lot of people, because I became a voice for the plant-based diet, doesn't mean that I have to neglect what I'm feeling inside to appease other people and then appease a movement. If I no longer believe in God, which I do, but if I no longer do, I no longer have to keep running a church telling people the only way to the light is through God if that is not where my faith and what my belief system is. I believe in being authentic, and I could have been a complete fake. Do you know how many fakes there are out there? They keep on continuing with their message because they're making money, they're selling books, and it wasn't the best thing for my career or my new plant-based restaurant opening up to come out and say, do you know how many vegans were hitting me out saying, I am so excited for Panacea to open up. Thank you for doing plant-based. Thank you for not putting in soy and all these clean foods. And then I had to put that out there. There are a couple things I would take back from my post that I do apologize over. The whole thing with Netflix I think if you read it again, it wasn't a generalization to everybody. It was definitely, I said there's a lot of people out there that are telling me not to do something because of something they watched, not something they've experienced. And by me just really looking at, dude, you just have to look at the world. There was a discussion today on the vegans group, and someone posted on there, do you feed your dog animal food? And everyone's like, oh, hell no, hell no, hell no. And then somebody right after, in the middle of it, they go, what about your cat? Well, cats eat lizards and snakes. I mean, you have to feed a cat animal food because that's what the cat biologically feeds off of.
But we're not dogs, we're not cats, we're not
But you know what?
lions.
But we're also human beings that have evolved this entire time until just recently, in the grand scheme of evolution, to start eating plants. And
But even that, there's no way we can possibly know that for sure.
well, do you know what? The only way we can know for sure is by trying it. And if we try it, and people in the middle of trying this thing, in the kindness of their heart, wanting to be a part of the positive impact instead of a part of the problem, are going, you guys, I'm trying over here. It's not working out for me. Please listen to me. And everyone's going, come on, you're just not eating the right diet. You need to start putting more spirulina in your diet. You need more seeds, nuts. I mean, that is not okay. And if I'm going to be a spokesperson and I'm going to step into the role and fantasy opens up and my voice gets louder, I don't want to keep leading people down a path that has not served me. I'll tell you, morally, it served me unbelievably. Like, my compassion levels, caring about people, animals, when I went vegan, went up drastically. But by me being vegan as long as I have, which is not that long compared to a lot of people, it allowed me to find a middle ground to what's okay and what's not okay. And my justification isn't trying to say, you guys, I was all wrong. Factory farming is where it's at. I mean, we got to feed everybody. My whole justification for me was, number one, I told you I don't need to go to a doctor for him to check my blood. I can look and see when I'm falling asleep. I can look at my
What if you
headache.
did go to a doctor and he or she gave you some ailment that you could cure your energy levels and you're being run down through plant medicines?
And what would that be?
Why? I don't know. That's where a doctor would come in handy. Why did you feel the need to
I mean, he
skip
might.
that step?
So what if my energy levels were? I mean, what if they were vitamin D, B12, and DHL?
But they make supplements for that.
I don't.
They make it
I don't-
convenient so
I
we don't have to hurt animals. We can supplement with that stuff.
But
now.
supplements are never as good as the real thing.
And plus, meat is supplemented with B12. So the meat that you're eating, they're not naturally producing it because they're fed so nutritionally imbalanced. They are taking B12 supplements.
I know, and I would never eat that meat in a million years.
That's all meat.
No.
Yeah.
No, there's grass-fed meat that is not supplemented B12, and that's a fact. That's not all meat. You can't generalize and say all meat is supplemented with B12. And even if it is, this is even if it is, it's worth the experiment for me to try on myself. If somebody is on this diet for long enough and they're having problems, like for one person, I actually know a person that I would not name, but poor circulation, loss of memory, and hyperthyroid.
So how did meat cure that in that person?
So she was going to a plant-based doctor, one of the most prominent plant-based doctors that actually exist. Everyone knows who he is. He put her on his supplements, and none of it was going away. And we're talking about 2 years, and this is a 12-year vegan. Nothing was going away. And I said to this person, I said, just something I think you should try. Why don't you try implementing salmon or sardines or something super high in omega-6 and see what happens. I didn't hear from this individual for some time, but she ended up coming out, called me 2 weeks later, crying, and she goes, oh my God, Shane. She goes, I'm so embarrassed to say this. She goes, I don't know what to do with my family and everything. She goes, but it's all coming back. I can't believe it. And she goes, I'm so embarrassed of what I've been doing because my family's vegan, everyone's vegan. I've been eating sardines in my closet. My kids are coming by. I tell them that mommy's eating cat food. It's so embarrassing. She goes, but I can honestly say thank you for telling me this because, God damn it. Thank you for your suggestion because I'm feeling like I'm coming back to my old self. And then there are numerous stories, brother.
But do you think there's no plant-based solutions for that person? That there are people who are wired where they have to eat the flesh of dead animals to cure whatever is ailing them?
You know where you and I differ really? Why you and I will never come to a resolution. We're not supposed to.
We're not here to come to a resolution.
We're not supposed to in this conversation. Is that you feel that it's okay to...
Just keep going with it. It clicks back on.
I feel like you're saying it's okay to self-sacrifice for this movement, and I don't believe in that. I don't believe in self-sacrifice.
No, that's not what I'm saying. Well, to an extent,
You are saying that.
It's not self-sacrifice. it's not bringing harm to another human, and there's keeping open minds. Because when you talked about the universe and infinity and esoteric, some doctors will tell you all disease starts in the mind. Is stress based.
Yeah.
So if we want to get esoteric there, which is there's more science behind that, that's a possibility as well. But it's about not bringing harm to other living things that don't want to die.
Okay. So if not bringing harm to other things that don't want to die made the world a better place and made everyone more compassionate, I think we would have seen a different result than the nastiness and the insaneness that took place off of that post and off of what's happening currently, probably right now, on these vegan groups. I mean, a death threat to my baby, calling up my girlfriend's work and trying to jeopardize her job. And I mean, dude, there is nothing beautiful about this picture at all. There is beautiful people in there, and I do believe that people are going through their own healing. But there's other people that latch on to animals because animals don't have a voice. Animals can't hurt them, and they hold animals sacred above human beings. And I'm very much a people person. Rather than me going to an animal sanctuary, I go to a school, I go to a prison, I go to the streets and help the homeless. I'm very much connected with human beings, and so if my journey here, you have your journey. Your journey is to save the animals, and if that's what you're going to embark on, and that is what you feel like your purpose is, God bless you, because we need more people like you. But if there's someone else that's taking a step back and really thinking about human beings, spirituality, and how do we heal, one of the greatest things I learned is where true healing comes from is you heal the soul heals the mind, and then the mind heals the body. We're talking about food and putting things in your mouth, but I honestly believe cancer generates from things that we keep suppressed, that we don't deal with. You go to these laughing clinics and they bring in comedians and people are healing themselves with laughter. So if me bringing in a peace of mind and it's just a thought, maybe it wasn't the sardines that actually made her better. Maybe it was a thought that she's doing something good for herself that actually brought her body back to balance. And she had a doctor. She was doing blood tests. And there's another gentleman by the name of, we won't say names, where yeah, there was another.
Go ahead.
There was another gentleman that I was dealing with where I brought him to a plant-based diet. He had an aneurysm, he had a heart attack, and he went on a plant-based diet. I've never seen anybody. Actually, I'll tell you who he is because he wouldn't care. Mark Henderson. Mark Henderson went on a plant-based diet, did everything I told him to do, was making himself green smoothies. All his signs went up. His blood was completely perfect, and he's been on the diet for almost a year now. And now the doctor went back to him and he goes, "Mark, you've been doing great, but you're super low in B12. You're low in all these vitamins that come from animals that you should start incorporating, like you said, just 10 to 20 calories of your diet out of the week into your diet and see what happens."
So why is it not good enough to get Kind Organics, non-GMO verified B12 and B3 and spray that in your mouth?
Because
it comes from Whole Foods. It's affordable.
Yeah.
You get 60 sprays for $12. Why is that not good enough? Why does an animal have to be murdered to get those nutrients?
That's the way whoever created this planet intended it, because that's the way it goes down.
You can use God to justify. People use God
I'm
to
not
justify
God.
blowing up
Dude,
people.
let's not talk about God.
It's the same
Let's
thing.
just talk about
It's the same
creation.
consciousness.
Let's talk about a lion and a gazelle. Let's talk about
it and blow us up because we're Americans and we don't live by their religious ideologies based on the Creator.
You're still talking.
That's still a justification. It's no different.
Dude, you keep on going to human beings. Human beings are the problem here. Human beings aren't the solution. So if you're going to talk about human beings and chemtrails and the Illuminati and everybody
else, about chemtrails?
You want to take it political. I'm not justifying.
It's not political. It's the same justification as what I'm saying.
It's not. I'm talking about the natural world, and you're talking about unconscious people. That's totally different. I'm talking about the natural world, how evolution has started and continues to be.
But evolution isn't written in stone. Evolution is theory.
Right.
We don't know for sure what we're meant to do as humans.
I agree with
that. But one thing we do know for sure, probably the only thing we know for sure, is we're supposed to love.
That's right.
And why not love those weaker than us instead of exploiting them and using them for food?
And I never would exploit them. And
you do exploit them when you eat them. It doesn't matter how well they're
treated. You know what? And that's for your perception. Here's the cool thing for you to realize, that no two people ever meet. My perception of you is completely different than your perception of me. If I were to step this world, this room, that phone that you're looking at right now, you and I will never look at that phone the same because of our experiences, because of our upbringing. And so if my truth is different than your truth, and my truth leads me to believe that I am coming from love because I'm loving my body and I'm allowing myself to be a full working machine to serve others, then I am okay with that. And I
But
do
your
not
truth
view that
brings
as
harm to other beings that don't deserve to die.
dude, does a gazelle deserve to die? Does the natural world,
We're
what are you
not
watching?
lions. We're not lions.
But we are meat eaters like I, and if some people aren't because of their blood type or whatever, and they do fine, then you're right. They're not a lion. They don't have the appetite of a wild animal that needs to eat it. They have an appetite of a deer. So, but if someone who is, I don't need to buy into that idea that you have and sacrifice myself and hold that as gospel, because that is not my truth. And that is also not the truth of science. And that is also
Science is against me, though. Science says animal products are bad for you.
No.
And science can be bought and paid for to say animal products are good for you.
Okay, and I do have a great thing about science. The one thing that we know for sure, without a doubt, is that a short-term plant-based diet for cleansing cleanses the body, rids the body of toxins. It's amazing. The only problem that we're talking about now, we're not debating my whole restaurant is based on cleansing with a short-term plant-based diet. But we're talking about long-term. We're talking about a year. We're talking about 12 years. We're talking about 20 years. There are plenty of people, if you want to take the time to look up stories, long-term vegans that have caused irreparable damage to their body, and we don't know exactly what they ate, but they are claiming they ate a clean plant-based diet, then we can't ignore those stories. That's their story. If they are suffering now because of all the love that they had in their heart for human beings and animals, why, if they decided, there's a lot of stories. I'm not the first person to be teaching a plant-based diet and veganism to break and go back. It wasn't because I was like, ha ha ha, animals are really full of shit.
Well, let's even talk about that a little bit, because this didn't shock me. I never really considered you a vegan, and I think that's where you kind of went wrong.
And you know what?
Because
That's probably the wrong word.
When we met 4 years ago, you weren't vegan.
No.
I think the first time I interviewed you, you said you eat eggs once in a while.
Yep.
But when you officially became vegan, and so I saw you said you were vegan for 2.5 years. That's incorrect. Because last June we had a conversation down the street about how you're eating meat again.
That was the reason why I had that conversation with you. It's because that was my break. I was coming to you because I told you I went back to doing it. How do I remember that conversation as clear as day?
But anyway, I don't. Anyway, that was like, so you went vegan. So we could say you were vegan for about a year. But you went vegan, you mentioned this earlier, because there was a young lady that you were attracted to. And she was hardcore about it, so that got you to become vegan. Then you met the other young lady that got you to stay vegan.
Right.
So I don't think that's the worst reason in the world to go vegan.
No.
If I can meet a girl who eats meat and she wants to go vegan because she's attracted to me, that's good. But you didn't go vegan for health reasons. You didn't go vegan for your love of animals.
I know. But
And where a lot of people are mad at you, and I don't think this is the case, but a lot of people are mad at you because you were so strong in your ideologies. You posted something about
I was all about it.
Not using humane meat at your restaurant because humane meat's not true. You posted about it's not it's not okay for a baby to be raised for organs. So your post the other day was a 180 to that.
Yeah.
And you were using the word vegan in people's perceptions, not mine.
Yeah.
For financial gain.
Yeah, and that's not the case. There was no financial gain in that. There was
Well,
zero.
Grassroots is closed down. You weren't making $1 million off of that.
No.
You weren't making that much money at all.
Yeah.
But with that being said, a lot of people don't know that's the reason you went vegan.
Yeah.
And again, I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but it's just people look to you as a leader and a hero in the community, and it was very disappointing for a lot of people to hear that.
I want to honestly just take a moment, and I want you to just honestly hear what I have to say here, because
Yeah, go for it. Just not too long, because
No.
I know you ran a lot.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's assholes on there right now saying, "Look, Nick's drinking plastic, fucking
Yeah.
hypocrite."
No, it was pretty chill.
I want you guys, I want everyone to know that I have a tremendous love in my heart for love, life, humanity. I know amazing vegans that they're absolutely incredible. I know people that eat meat that are absolutely incredible individuals. My purpose, honestly, there's a whole lot of things, and these aren't cop-outs. Like, I know someone's going, oh, that's bullshit. Number one, I wanted to create a bridge, a dietary bridge into Panacea. The reason why I came out was because I wanted people to know that there's this plant-based restaurant that is opening up, and I am not perfect. I slipped, I ate meat, and now that I slipped and ate meat, I'm feeling better because of it. We can still come and join together in health and wellness and learn and bring in speakers and open up our minds of consciousness and really begin to expand our ideas of thinking. And by me coming out wasn't a sacrifice for my restaurant, it was a consequence. That I'm opening up. Number one, I wanted to be vocal so people could be more understanding that this restaurant was not created under a label. Even before I went vegan, I decided not to call my restaurant vegan. But now, this is like, we're talking about plant medicine here. For me, I'm serving people something that I truly believe in. I don't believe in pharmaceuticals. I believe that they're good when we need them. But I do believe that plants are incredible teachers, incredible healers, and I want to share it and continue to share it with the world the most creative way. But I also want to be honest with myself. And if I'm going to be in a world of health and wellness and lie to myself and lie to people that are looking up to me in my message, then I don't feel like I'm doing myself a service. So I understand that I folded. You can call me weak, you can call me human, you can call me whatever it is you want.
But do you truly believe there's not a plant-based solution for, again, I'm going to keep saying this to mess with you, but for your rundownitis?
Yeah.
What's stopping you tomorrow from making an appointment with a health professional? And before you answer, let me say this too. I think the listen to your body is inaccurate. Because we're made from trillions of microbes and organisms and bacteria, and sometimes listening to your body is listening to parasites. When I went vegetarian, I craved the white flour. No one's going to tell me white flour is... No one's going to tell me white flour is bad for me. But the parasites within my body were putting out chemicals to make me want food that feeds them. And also, too, I can, with the whole meat thing, this may not be the best example. So you ate meat or fish, you felt better. Sometimes I feel run down and I feel tired. You know what makes me feel better?
What's that?
A nice cup of coffee.
Yep.
There's nothing healthy about that coffee,
Nope.
but it makes me feel better. So at this point, what's stopping you from looking for a plant-based solution and maybe seeking a professional?
Because I no longer believe that there's one way for everybody. I stopped drinking alcohol in November. It's going to be 1 year. I stopped drinking coffee before I stopped eating meat because I thought maybe that it was my adrenal glands that was bringing me down. So I took one big addiction out of my body because it was running down my mind. I took another addiction in my body because I didn't want to start eating meat if it was a stupid addiction that was running me down. And then going for the time that I did without drinking coffee, I realized that nothing was changing. So it was honest, my honest answer, and I'm not going to go back on it. I mean, this is my answer. That I believe there's no one way for anybody. I am sorry for the animals that the way they're treated in the factory farms. I am not sorry that I'm eating something that has died by another man that is entering into my mouth.
Could you kill that animal yourself? Would you look at an animal in the eye and slit its throat?
You know why I can't? Because I wasn't raised in that culture. Do you know what else I'm not raised in? I'm also completely detached from the natural world because I'm on my cell phone, moving from one box to another, driving in my car, putting gasoline in my car. Do you know for a fact? I mean, if you want to go extreme, like if you get liposuction, if you get Botox in your face, if you get a boob job, all that stuff was tested on animals. Number one, that is a fact. And so if some people that within...
I've never gotten any of those things.
I know you haven't, but some people do. Whether they're celebrities or whatever, they're pushing veganism and they're getting naked and they're getting on the PETA, they have animals all over their body for beauty. So, and then we support those people because of what they're standing for. If I am not going for beauty, man, I'm just going for health. I'm not eating a protein diet so I can bulk up and be the biggest dude around. I'm putting just enough so I could feel good in my body. And with factory farming, do you know how many rodents and bugs and bunnies and die from the tractor rolling over the thing? So
that's a weak argument. I've never seen bunnies and rodents lined up being slaughtered from a jet.
Dude,
that's such a bullshit argument.
It's not a bullshit argument. Why don't you look it up? And why don't you guys look it up?
Have you seen pictures of field mice lined up slaughtered because someone mowed a field for wheat? And with that being said, I don't eat a lot of those monocrops, so that wouldn't even apply to me.
Okay, so you grow your own.
No, you're talking about wheat farms, corn, soy. That's where the argument comes from.
Yeah.
I don't eat those products most of the time.
Okay, so that's you.
Just because some crops have destruction of a field mice and rams. It doesn't mean all foods do.
Let me ask you this.
That doesn't make it okay.
Let me ask you this. Do you drink almond milk?
Rarely.
Okay. So you guys can look
And
this
the
up.
water in beef and
Yeah.
produced milk is way more vast than it is to make almonds.
Okay. So I'm not even talking about the almonds. I'm talking about the bees. To pollinate in California, all the bee farmers come from all over the place to pollinate blue diamond almonds. And not just blue diamond almonds, but much of the almond milk that we drink today. Those bees are injected with sugar to keep them going, and they're ran into exhaustion until many of them pass away, so we can pollinate flowers, so we can drink almond milk for the rest of the year. So if you guys hear that, and you can look that up as well, is if you're going to stop drinking almond milk because of bees, dude, eventually you're going to get pushed into such a corner that life is going to be freaking miserable. The only thing that you have going for you, let me tell you the secret to all of it. It's not just the animals. It's how we treat each other. It's how we raise our vibration. If you guys really want to change the world, if you want animals to stop hurting each other, then you wouldn't have left those negative comments on my thing. I know you were hurt, but I totally get it. But until we resonate from the space of love, how are we going to love anything else unless we love ourselves as much to take care of the rest of the world as it should be taken care of? And all of it has to do with lack of love. It all has to do with fear. We vibrate on a very low level. This philosophy, vegan philosophy, this vegan philosophy is a beautiful idea. I mean, to help the earth, save the water, save the animals. But guess what? A lot of the people in a lot of these meetup groups and a lot of these forums are vibrating on a very low level. If you guys want to go to the vegan, whatever it is that everyone goes on all day long, not just this one scenario, it's people bashing each other and putting up disgusting things. And can you believe that this guy did this? And can you believe this guy did that? I mean, it is an epidemic of hatred that goes on there. But I know they think they're coming from a beautiful place. But once we get caught up in the motion of negativity, we don't see our own actions. And so a lot of what happened yesterday is the rest of the world got to see how beautiful this philosophy was on a compassionate level. It always goes back to animals. But what about each other? What about everything? What if we're all dying, we're all going back to the same place, we all came from the same place, we're all brothers and sisters in this together. So it's not about one particular thing, it's about everybody. And by me consuming meat doesn't take my heart down any less, because it's all that I know, it's all that I've ever seen. Only the natural world is telling me this is the way it is. I'm telling you, Nick, if we were doing this and everything I read in the China study was coming true and people were evolving and people weren't getting sick and people were not falling apart on this diet, some people do, some people don't, then I would say, damn, we did it. We figured out a solution. Now you guys, what's the problem? Let's do this. I would be so excited, it's unbelievable. But it's still so new and it's being tested that it's not proven. It's only an idea that we hope it's our last chance. A lot of people are thinking, our last chance for hope for saving the planet. But in my belief, that is not what's going to save the planet.
I think there are enough prominent doctors that have treated patients where it is proven. Dr. Joel Furman, Dr. Michael Greger.
Dr. Joel Furman eats meat. So Dr. Joel Furman eats meat. He talks about it in his book and everything. He's a plant-based doctor that heals people with plants, but he eats meat.
Well, fuck that guy then.
Yeah.
I do want to say this. Two things I want to say about the comments. One, if anyone is threatening you, you got to press charges against them.
Yeah.
Leave it at that. I did find it disturbing and a little disgusting. It's not a reflection on you in any way. When people are coming out, because basically your whole post is coming out, I'm eating meat.
Yeah.
No matter which way you want to look at it, you're bringing death to another species.
Yeah.
However you want to justify it.
If you want to put a name on it.
Yeah. But I did find it a little disturbing, a little disgusting how many people are telling you they're proud of you because of that.
Yeah.
That congratulations, good job, buddy.
And do you know what?
Are you okay with that?
Yeah. You know what that praise was for the majority of people, and I'm sure that I'm going to get a lot of agreement on this. It wasn't, I'm proud of you. You joined us again because you're eating meat. They were proud of the authenticity and me removing the smokescreen and allowing myself to be vulnerable to the public. That's what they were proud of. Because too many people don't. Too many people live in secret. They live like people want them to live, and they don't live to their higher truth. And so by me coming out and doing what I did, where most of that praise came from was because it's something that they want to do in their own life. And congratulations, because you fucking did it and you didn't have to.
Okay, fair enough. I'm trying trying to think if I have any other questions for you at this point. So are you sold? Okay, one thing you did say earlier too is where you were saying people aren't doing well eating vegan, eating plant-based.
No.
You know, to be clear, vegan is a way of life, and the philosophy plant-based is regarded to the food you eat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's. I don't want to.
And you know what? I think it started. That was a mistake of mine. I mean, when I jumped on board, I go full force. Maybe I wasn't.
Do you feel you never should have identified as vegan?
Yeah, because you know what? I never threw my boots away.
Yeah.
I never tore the seats out of my car.
No, that's all right. But what I'm saying, what I was getting at is, so you said people were saying you got to eat seeds, you got to eat this, you got to eat that. Those aren't solutions. But that's like the opposite. People saying to me, we got to eat meat. So why is that a solution? And eating certain foods that come from plants not a solution?
But I did. I ate all of them. There's nothing I didn't eat. I'm the
You ate chia seeds. You ate pumpkin seeds. You ate garbanzo beans.
I'm the freaking Rawmixologist, man. I had all that stuff in my juice bar. Everything you're talking about, I had on a daily basis. I had it at the tip of my fingers. I was able to make drinks and soups and salads and all that stuff. And not on top of that, I got to eat for free.
Yeah.
So that is definitely something that superfoods, ashwagandha, purple corn, raw cacao, taking superfoods, nuts, raw, only cooking it to a certain temperature, so I'm not cooking out the enzymes. I am on it when it comes to a diet. I'm not sitting in the corner telling people to eat their vegetables and I'm in the back eating Dreyer's ice cream. There are things I will not put in my mouth no matter what. If there's something I can't identify in it, I will not eat that or put it into my body. And I've also removed myself from vegan junk food a while back ago. Dude, I went through all the proper measures, man. First it was removing myself from vegan junk food. Then it was starting Ashley and I getting a rice cooker, getting brown rice, taking green leaves, throwing it on top of our food, and really trying to eat super clean. Then it was Ashley convincing me to take oil out of my diet. I mean, I did it all, man. I went to Dr. Furman. I went to Dr. McDougall, not personally. I went to their philosophy. I went to their book.
And I was joking when I said, fuck Dr. Furman. Just for the record, I interviewed him before I know him.
Yeah, so, Dr. Furman's all right. Let me tell you about Dr. Furman. Dr. Furman is, and I'm not modeling myself after Dr. Furman, but when Dr. Furman gets on stage and he talks about a plant-based diet to a bunch of vegans or people that are aspiring to be, he inspires a lot of people. And what does Dr. Furman do when he gets on stage? He moves people over to the side that they need to be on. He gets them thinking about their diet. The one thing that did happen yesterday, and you guys may agree with it or not, is I do agree within how we farm today, there's no such thing as cruelty-free meat. I take that back. I should have said it was just organic, grass-fed, free-range. But when I made that comment, I had so many people asking me, where do I find cruelty-free meat? Now, say that's the baby step, okay? First, you got to get up and you got to start walking.
How can you compassionately rape somebody?
Right.
That's the same thing as
cruelty-free
meat.
Well, you know what? It's called asking questions.
Well, what if this? Hold on. What if you bless the woman before you rape her?
That's not the same thing, man. These arguments don't work with me because I've heard them all before. The rape.
How do you respond to that?
Because the rape didn't happen with me. If something happened to somebody that happened to something, if I ate a meat and it showed how this cow was dragged through the thing and the torture and everything with it, I'd be like, where do I find a slice that I can't do it? That me, by me blessing the meat, is my own spiritual belief. That my intention is coming from love. Thank you for feeding my body. I am so grateful for the food and the nutrients that I'm about to receive. And it does. And I don't bless plants. That there's something sacred that goes on with eating meat from the amount of education and everything I've received in the brutality of how animals have been treated. So it is something.
Do you think that really makes the animal suffer any less? Like the animal, say it was raised with the utmost love, it's still dying when it doesn't want to die.
I do believe it raises the vibration. It raises the vibration of my intention, and that is how. And I do believe that is how we exist. We exist on high to low levels of vibration, and most people somewhere in between. So if me rising my vibration and eating with intention is what makes me feel great when I wake up in the morning and feel excited about life and enjoying the sunshine and going out and being a part of the world, and if that gets me going, that's good enough for me. And I would never honestly, this is gonna sound so weird, but it's my truth. I'm gonna tell you that when the first week I started eating meat, I went to California, and I was going to this cacao ceremony thing, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna try it out. I'm gonna go to every restaurant. Do you have grass-fed, free range, whatever? Not one restaurant could say yes to one of my questions. So the whole entire time, I was eating plants the whole entire time anyway. So it wasn't like, oh, I got to have a piece of salmon. I gave in. And that alone, when I came back from that vacation, made me feel great that I didn't crack. When I just did this catering job at Toyota, I was starving, man. All this great food, no boo. Everything was there. Didn't touch one entire thing. I didn't touch one thing because it didn't resonate with me. It didn't sit well.
Okay, that sounds good. But with the animal products you are eating, why do you trust that those animals are raised in a humane way, which, again, a bullshit term? How do you trust that? How do you know someone's not lying to you?
Because I either have the option of buying a big fish tank and somehow raising salmon, or I have to trust it for my own happiness.
But still, it could. What if it's not good? So you went to California. You said all these. You refused to eat it because it wasn't raised well.
Right.
So what if some lying salesman, business owner says, "Oh, this is factory, or this is free of factory farm. This is great. This is this salmon is raised well," but they're lying to you.
I have to trust that for the time being, because it makes me that label gives me without going to the farm and to where that animal is taken care of. Every time I want to eat, it allows me to do it. It makes me feel good. That's the reason. I don't have a better reason than that.
So are you carnivore for life now?
No, I'm not anything for life, man. I change from one moment to the next. And when I change and I have a belief, or someone pushes an idea down my throat, if something comes out, if maybe one day through stem cells they're able to grow meat, and then there's no more raising meat in factory farms, and we know exactly where our meat came from a test tube. I'll feel a whole lot better than that. So that might allow me to be carnivorous for the rest of my entire life. If we got to a point where our planet was completely devastated and it was like you guys, it's all right that your health is not okay. Either you do this for your children and their children, or else we're fucked. Then yes, I would do it again. But right now I have hope and belief that I don't have to become a cutter and sacrifice myself for that particular situation until it's necessary. And I do believe that there's other situations that are hurting the planet even more. And I believe people as a whole, I believe agriculture, destroying our prairies, wetlands, anything that has to do with factory, anything to feed the masses is eventually depleting the resources from everything. But I believe that there's a reason for everything, and I believe that we'll be taken care of. And without sounding like a crazy person, I believe that we're in a shift. There's a shift in consciousness that is happening. I'm very grateful that you and I are sitting here having this conversation, because I love you to fucking death. You're one of my favorite people on the planet. You're the only guy I could sit down at the table and we could just talk about girls, talk about anything without having an agenda to it, like a couple of buds. And when I opened up to you, when I was meditating out in the desert, and you came out and I heard you walking around finding a place to pee, there's not too many people that would feel that comforting to confide in, because you are my friend, you are my brother, and we do have that connection. And I've been doing a lot of damage control today with people hitting me up on my things. Shane, I want to talk to you, I want to hear your reason. And every single one of them said, you know what, I can take that. It doesn't sit well with me, that is not my truth, but thank you for exposing yourself and allowing me to hear your side, because I hear your heart and your voice and what you're saying, and I can take that. And this is not coming from greed, man. It's just and it's not coming from fear. I'm not afraid that I'm going to die. I'm not afraid if I keep doing it, I'm going to wither up and I'm going to be in a hospital bed. I'm doing with what resonates to me that feels good, and I will be in.
But how's that not coming from fear, though? That doesn't. I think that's a contradiction.
Because there's a difference between just loving your car and washing it because you love it. There's a difference between washing your car and just loving it, as opposed to, I got to put this seal on it because somebody's going to come by and key it. It's just a genuine love for my body that is as plain and as simple as that.
Do you have any questions for me?
No, I have a statement for you, though.
Yeah.
I love your mission. I love that you are the voice for so many. I love that you take the stance on non-GMOs. And one thing I really love about you more than anything is that you keep trucking no matter what, man. You keep putting out those videos. You hit the street. You'll talk about politics. You'll put that mic up. And sometimes you'll get no likes, and sometimes you get 100,000 likes. but you keep doing it because your heart leads you in that direction, and you live a life of purpose. And I think that's what everybody really needs to grasp from this whole thing, is that you need to find what you love and what resonates with you. And if your thing is you're going to love animals, don't forget about everyone else first. Don't tell somebody to kill their baby. There's this one girl on there that is destroying me, and it's but I'm fine with it.
It's not
Yeah.
that person in line with all vegans. That's a
No,
psychopath.
I know.
Who doesn't
It's just
eat
one
meat.
person.
And press charges against a person that's going to say that.
Yeah.
I do think it's inappropriate to bring your child into it.
No, it's not even the child.
Father,
It's
myself.
just there's a lot of hate going on that chat line. Period. It's actually disgusting.
Yes and no. I mean, well, we're not talking about those individuals, but I was reading those comments today, and I noticed people were using the words hate and ugly
Yeah.
before there was actually that extreme hate and ugly on there. So a lot of it was disagreements, but to that point, no one should be using your kid as an example because that's just inappropriate.
And one last thought: don't follow me, guys. Don't follow me. If I'm eating meat and you've been a vegan for a period of time, this is not the way. Find your own way. Find your own truth. If you are doing this and you're feeling great about yourself and you feel like you've found a family and great friends because of your lifestyle and because of the people that you run with, that is an amazing thing. Keep going for it. Keep doing it. And I just really and I keep saying it over and over, just follow what resonates with you and live a life of purpose. Get out in your community, do amazing things. Let's build Las Vegas together. It's not the vegans against the meat eaters. It's not a blacks against the whites. It's not Black Lives Matter. It's all lives matter. I know black people
Except
hate
the animals you kill, though.
No, huh?
Except the animals
No.
you kill. All lives matter.
No.
Except the fish that...
Because that is within the ecosystem. That is the cycle of life. That's the way it always has been, and that is my clarity, which I understand the situation. And if somebody has the other thing, like Adam, Eve ate the apple, love fell by the wayside, people became carnivores, eating dead meat, flesh and blood, and we fell from the grace of God, and now we're coming back again because we're back to eating plants. If that's your belief system and that's your story and that's what makes you happy and get up in the morning, God bless you, man. But that is not mine. And I am someone that really is based on logic, and just it's plain and simple for me. For me, it's plain and simple. Go back, look at what man has always done. Look at nature. Turn on the Discovery Channel. Some eat meat, some don't eat meat, and it's an amazing thing. I mean, you look at a cow, and some people have one thing I hear all the time is eat what cows eat grass. Dude, I've even said that before. Learning that a cow has a completely different stomach for breaking down grass into bacteria, and then that body feeding off the bacteria, able to absorb nutrients into its body. Yeah, cows eat grass. Gorillas eat meat too. People eat like a gorilla.
I don't agree with that comparison, though.
Dude,
we're not
I know.
these animals.
But people,
And if humans,
thank you for saying
this
that.
is where humans would be superior. Because a lot of people eat meat based on humans are superior to these other animals. If humans were superior, we would take care of these animals 100
And you know what?
% of the time.
And we got to take care of these animals. We've got to
you-
take care.
you
But
can't kill them and eat them and take care
Do you
of
know
them.
what?
You can't be an animal lover and
yes,
eat animals.
don't tell me what I can do and what I can't do, because that's exactly what I'm going to do.
It's impossible.
No, nothing's impossible, brother. You got to expand your mind a little bit. Nothing is impossible, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to love and take care of these animals, and I'm going to eat an animal for food when I see fit and when it resonates with me that it's okay. And my love and compassion for the animals will be exactly the same.
But again, you couldn't look a cow in the eye, tell it you love it, then slit its throat and watch it bleed to death.
Actually,
then eat its body.
let me tell you something. If that cow was my best friend and we were walking up, look at that movie Alive. Okay, the best friends, that soccer team that went down in flames and they were starving to death. They were eating their best friends. Don't tell me what I could do and what I can't do, because I
You
might.
eat me.
I might. You look like a good piece of meat. People, when it resorts to hunger and trying to get by, if I had to eat a cow and there was me, Ashley, and my baby sitting there and we had a cow, yes, I would say, I love you, buddy. Thank you for feeding us. The troopers are coming to save us a little bit, but we got to survive. I would eat that cow.
If you ate me, I'd fucking haunt you in your dreams.
You'd be inside me
Son of a
forever.
bitch.
You'd be inside me forever.
That's what she said.
But you guys, I know for a lot of you guys, this isn't a laughing matter. It's very hurtful I know I appreciate, let me look in the camera and say this. I appreciate for all the support that you have given me throughout my career, and I love you guys, man. It's exactly the same. Even the people with the hurtful words, I love you. But it's just my evolution, and because I'm a spokesperson and I've allowed myself to be a public figure, and I have to live my truth, and I can't live a lie, and I don't feel like I have to sacrifice myself for that. But if you have any last words for me, I appreciate you, man.
Well, I still think you should find a plant-based solution. I don't know you're going to do it. I don't think you're sacrificing yourself. And I wholeheartedly disagree with a lot of what you're saying.
Yeah, and I wholeheartedly disagree with a lot that you're saying. And that's just the way the world goes around. That's it.
But you're still going to be my friend?
Yeah.
You were my friend before you were vegan.
That's
so
right.
It's not going to make a difference. When you're ready to come back to Eden, that made-up story you talked about, Adam and what's her name? Yeah, when you feel the need to withdraw from that, I will be here to guide you.
You got that wrong. That's not my story. That was just an example.
I said it was a made-up story.
That's not my story. My story is I just looked at the world, saw how it worked, and I felt like I'm a part of that ecosystem. And if I'm doing it for me and it works, God bless me.
Can you say admit it's selfish?
Nope. There's nothing selfish about love, man. Nothing selfish about love.
You're not killing animals and calling it love.
You know what? And that's your perception, and that's the dimension you live in. And I'm not saying that's a lower dimension. That is your perception. We're operating on the same playing field with a different point of view.
Yeah, I feel like I have more to say, but I feel like we'll be talking in circles, and we're well over an hour at this point.
I have one question.
Yeah.
You were pretty much plant-based. I know you're taking up the mantle right now with it being this meat eater now, but are you not mostly plant-based? What's the percentage of your diet that you want to be plant-based from ongoing?
My percentage of my diet that I am plant-based is about 90%. So I'm still on a 90% plant-based diet. It's about 2 pieces of fish a week, and all plants, even soy products. I went out with Diana from Vegas Vegans, and we went to Whole Foods, and I got the buffalo meatless chicken and put it in my burrito. And that's still how I operate. But I am now on this level that I will give my body what it's asking for. And 80. If I hope that resonates with anybody. If it doesn't, I do not think that anyone should be incorporating meat in their diet all the time. It's not good for you on a consistent basis, and our environment can't take that anyway. Meatless Mondays is not enough. It's got to be way more than that. And
And I'm going to go out and punch a baby, but before I do, I'm going to bless it. Yeah. Tell them it's part of the circle of life.
Yeah.
All right. We're good, man. I appreciate
and that's the way he interpreted that whole conversation. That's good.